Yes.
Milo and Michelle here, Fort Myers, Florida.
Great to see you guys. What's your question? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Well, one of our questions is, Tyler, you did a fantastic job of explaining a lot of the stuff, so you pretty much answered it, but I know that it's not on the net payroll, it's what we pay, not what the employee makes. But what I want to know is it also inclusive as that annual bonus, or if I do quarterly bonuses, so I calculate all potential pay for the rest of this year, divide that by 12, and then multiply that times 2.5. Is that right?
Yeah, so they would they would include bonuses in your previous 12 months in the maximum loan amount calculation, and then whatever you pay in the 8-week period is what's forgiven. Now they do cap it at $100,000 of wages annualized per employee. So if you take 8 weeks divided by 52, the cap is $15,384 is what you can pay each employee in payroll costs during that period. So when you're factoring in your bonus during the forgiveness period, as long as it doesn't go above that threshold, then you're okay. But the other piece that you want to look at during that threshold is retirement payments. So retirement contributions paid by the employer count as payroll costs. And so you can actually if you normally pay 3% match during the year, and you do that in December at the end of the year, maybe you can do a forecast on what you think you're going to pay on that.
Right.
And then you can match that during the 8-week period and get that portion forgiven instead of waiting till December. And so that's one way that you can maximize that forgiveness period.
So think of bonuses, retirement, any of those things you want to pay during that 8-week period, and then you're going to be benefiting your client, meaning your internal employee, but you'll also be able to be reimbursed, right? Because it'll be part of the forgiveness. So that's the perfect time to load that up, and it's appropriate and legal and playing by the rules to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Thanks for your question. Great question. Let's go for another one.
One more we have, and that is on the paperwork, it only allows you, at least where we went to our bank, allows you to add up the payroll. But when do you show all your other overhead, all the other contributions?
Oh yeah, good question. So there's the two components are the max loan amount and then the forgiveness period. So they don't use the rent and utilities and other components in the maximum loan amount. It's only a factor of the payroll. That's why they do it to a 2.5 month factor, and then the forgiveness is within 8 weeks. So you got a little bit of buffer there. So where the rent and utilities comes into play is in that forgiveness calculation. Now, every bank requests different information. Some banks want all that up front. They want your rent and utilities while you're providing it. Others, sounds like they're just wanting the payroll so they can figure out what the loan is. Let's disperse the loan and then figure out the forgiveness period on the back end. And so that's where probably the difference is. Your bank is just asking for the maximum loan amount, would be my guess.
Exactly. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Next question.
Great. Hey, Tony. Hey, Tyler. Thank you very much for that great information. My question to you is, does my business need to have dropped significantly in order to take the PPP program?
That is an excellent question. And so the disaster loan, yes, you need to show damages. What they're asking for, the criteria on the payroll protection loan, is you need to certify that due to current economic uncertainty, you need this loan in order to continue operations. Well, that's a very vague, broad term, and everyone's uncertain and has no clue what's going to happen over the next 6 to 9 months. So to me, I feel comfortable, even though business might be doing good right now in your business, depending on if you're making cake, quarantine cakes. But who knows when that's going to drop off and suddenly no one has any spending money. So I feel comfortable certifying that due to current economic uncertainty, I need that money to make sure that I continue to pay my people. Otherwise, I'm going to make a lot leaner hiring decisions and retention decisions than if I didn't have that payroll. So that's how I would approach that.
Well, the answer to the question, so to be crystal clear, is no. You don't have to have experienced it. If you're concerned, that's all that matters. If you have a reason for concern, you don't have to explain the reason for concern. We all have it. You don't have to worry about it. That's not part of the criteria for qualifying for the loan. They're wanting to get all of us employers to keep people out of unemployment, ideally for another 90 days, while hopefully the economy goes back to work And hopefully people start to operate in a normal way so we can limit the number of people in unemployment. That's the whole basis of this. So they're pushing to get the money out. Now, working with the right bank to speed it up, getting your application in immediately are the critical components here. So you guys can do it on your own, or somebody like Tyler can help you.
Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you?
Good to
Tyler?
see you. Nice to see you, Jeffrey.
You too, you guys. Hey, thanks for all this information. Tony, thank you for setting us up for this winter and being in a position to help and to do other things for our employees and those around us. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Quick question now. I've and I think you kind of answered a little bit of this, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I went to my kind of regional bank, and they were very efficient, very quick. But what are the other banks that people could go to that you're finding an efficiency in terms of getting it through the process?
Yeah. So yeah, good move going to the bank that you had a relationship with. But I've had clients I've been on the phone with in the last couple of days that say, "Hey, my bank's not doing it. Where do I go?" So I would say look for someone who is either an SBA Express lender, because they're kind of have a little bit more leeway to put things through faster, or go to try your community bank, because they're number one, they have a lot fewer to process. I saw one major bank, I think it was Wells Fargo, already had they had 10 billion set aside, or 10 billion allocated for this. And they were at 97% of that in applications already just in the first week of it. So these community banks have a little more flexibility just because they don't have as broad of a business client base. And so look for an SBA Express lender who can help you with it, or a community bank is what I would say with that.
Right. Thank you so much for it all.
Thank you. Let's do a few questions just off the Q&A side, just to speed it up. Let's take 3 or 4 of them here. Can I have my moderator pop in and offer a few to us?
Hey, Tony and Tyler. How are you guys? This question comes from Justin Benson and many others. Question is, are 1099 employee payments included in payroll costs?
That has been a back and forth on, was the law written for it? Is it not? And I'm fortunate that just yesterday, the Department of Treasury released a brand new FAQs on their website that says that 1099s are not included in payroll costs. So they're not included either in the maximum loan amount or the forgiveness period. So anyone who's an independent contractor would not be eligible in that payroll cost. However, they can go apply for this loan themselves. So this is for keeping your employees on staff, and then any vendors that you work really closely with, I would send them this information and encourage them to apply. Especially as they add more money on the back end of this, because the way that they